Well, I don't really feel like I'm a legend, so, it's slightly embarrassing when people call me that.
Yeah, why is that?
Well, I don't know. I mean, you kind of do things because you're motivated by the subject rather than being a legend or doing anything like that. So all I hope to do is contribute to the history and the kind of electronic music scene. Well, at the moment I've been doing a party called Low Life for the last 18 years. We're still doing that. We did a festival this year called Country Life. Just very small for 500 people, and then I'm still writing. I'm still doing lots of kind of writing. I've just done
for Guardian, right?
For the Guardian and lots of other places. I've just done a really big box set for Trax Records for 16 CDs. So I did that, finished that a couple of months ago. That's coming out in September, I think. So I'm just continuing to do the things that I enjoy doing, which is writing about music and playing music to people. Of course I'm living my dream. I mean, when I left school at 15 and went to work as a chef, so yeah, of course. I'm basically being paid for my hobby.
That's great. That's actually the best thing in life, when you're paid for your hobby.
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't really feel like I'm doing something to earn a living. So to get paid for doing all the things that you would do anyway is pretty incredible. Well, the secret to a great party is really good people and really good music. Everything else is incidental. When you throw a party, it's more important to have good music and good people than a great venue, a great club, great lights, or even really good mixing skills. I think it's much more important to play really good music at the right time to a great crowd than anything else. Those are the two things that are really fundamentally important. Well, I mean, with Low Life, what we try and do is kind of refresh our crowd anyway. So people that were coming, nearly 20 years ago are not the same people that are coming now. So what you hope to do is to encourage younger people to come all the time. So that's what we always aim to do, is to kind of get...
Are they coming?
Well, at the moment, I'd say our crowd is kind of an age between 25 and 35, so not super young, but mature enough to appreciate the music. The first time I came to Croatia was actually in 1989. I drove through Slovenia and Croatia to go to Albania. So I've been coming here for the last 24 years. I've been to lots of different places in Croatia, in Bosnia, in Serbia, in Slovenia, Montenegro. I've been to all of the different former Yugoslav territories.
You played every territory? Or?
I've played every territory, yeah. Macedonia.
Can you compare maybe the region among the people? What's the crowd like?
I wouldn't like to choose one over the other. I mean, Croatia is certainly the most beautiful because it's got so much coastline. So I love coming here because the weather's always so amazing. But the people have always been fantastic in all of the different regions. I mean, they're just so enthusiastic about electronic music, and it's always a real pleasure to come here and play for Croatians, Bosnians, Serbians, Slovenians. In London, there are always things happening. It's always exciting. There are always things changing. There are always new parties springing up. There are always new DJs coming up. So London's just a great place to be in terms of music generally, but electronic music and dance music in particular. So, just being there is an exciting place. There are so many different things happening every weekend. So my job, as I see it, is to find those things and write about them and document them. The difference between rock music and electronic music is that electronic music is driven by technology. So there are always things happening with it because there are always new innovations, new technological innovations that drive it forward. Whereas rock music is very much driven by the past in a lot of ways. It's still, a lot of the bands playing are still influenced by bands from the past. Whether it's the Beatles or the Rolling Stones or more modern groups like Primal Scream. What I find exciting about electronic music is it's always pushing forward and looking for new things. and that's what attracts me to it, is the fact that it's always looking forward and trying to find new things to do with music. And because
Is there a lot of things to discover yet in electronic music, or?
well, that's really hard to say. I mean, I suspect there probably are. There's lots of things happening with electronic music. Certainly on the DJing side, just the change from vinyl to CDs, and then the change from CDs to laptop DJing. That's a big change for music, dance music. You know, the era I grew up in was very much about collecting vinyl, going to record stores, and playing.
Still doing that?
And playing records. And no, I don't play vinyl anymore. I play CDs, and it's changed. It's changed for me. It's much easier to travel with 2,000 songs in my collection rather than 70 or 80 records in my collection, which is what I used to do 15 years ago or 10 years ago. So it's made it easier. You know, I'd much rather travel with more music than travel with less music.
So
I don't get me wrong, I love vinyl and I collect vinyl, and I still buy records every week without fail. But for me, it's so much more convenient being able to play digital music, and it's easier to travel, and really the people on the dance floor don't really care whether you're playing vinyl or CDs or you're playing WAVs or whatever. As long as you're playing good music that they want to dance to, then they're going to go away happy. I don't think many people are looking at what format you're playing. They're listening to what music you're playing, and I think that's really the important thing. Personally, for me, I don't really care for what's going on with EDM music in America very much, but I think that a lot of 13, 14, 15-year-old kids who are discovering electronic music in America through EDM, in 5, 6, 7 years, are going to be the future of electronic music. They'll be producing interesting music, exciting music, so I think it's a good thing overall. Although I don't really like the music that they play now, I think, 5, 6, 7 years time, I think you'll see some very interesting hybrids happening.
don't you think that it's kind of strange that EDM actually arrived from America, from the States, and now it's reinventing itself through this EDM subgenre in the States?
Well, what's bizarre is that a lot of people in the States probably have no idea that the music that they're dancing to originated in the black community in America. They probably think that techno and all of these kind of styles of music came from Europe and they're importing them. But actually, this is music that has its roots in black America, and I think that's the strangest thing about it.
Thank you very much, Bill Brewster.
Pleasure. Hello to Never Too Much Info.